Welcome back for those who've been here, and welcome to those who haven't. So today, we're going to take a little stroll through the air in Halo and do some belt mining. Probably try to keep it a little short, so we'll probably just go out and get a load and call it good at that. Then we'll get that to the refinery. For those who don't know, we're actually running into some issues with mineables not showing up on moons and planets. So, unfortunately, that's just the sad truth of 324.2. Hopefully, they'll fix that. But as of right now, they haven't. Which means that if you want to mine, you gotta do it in the belt. Um, so that's what we're doing. I actually left from Crew L1, headed to Arc L3. Um, and then basically dropped out at the appropriate distance. You can find those charts all over the place. Just do a search for Aaron Hallow refinery routes, so forth. Maybe at some point here I'll get some of those put up. But other than that, right now, just kind of running around looking. As you can see, there's quite a few scannable here. You can even find salvage out here if you want, in the form of panels. And used to be that you would basically just go after stuff that was multiples. So basically like 3,000 something up. But now you can actually find pretty decent stuff even at 17, 1800 range. So as you can see here, you pretty much got your pick. So just kind of pick one and go to it. In this case, I'm just going for pretty much what's closest. So we'll basically keep pinging. There we go. Now it pops up. So now we just got to go there. As we get closer, it'll change to the mining icon like that. And then we'll just run in. I'll go ahead and get the mining head out and take a look at it and see what it's got. So in this case, we're looking at quartz. I'm not really interested in that right now. I'm sure that kind of stuff will come into play with the addition of base building and crafting later, but we're not there yet. And yes, we are all looking forward to that. Alright, so let's go find one of the next ones that's close. Basically what I'm looking for is the three top ones besides Quantanium. So Terranite, Vexillite, and Gold. Of the three, I kind of prefer Vexillite and Terranite because they're not as, I guess, as dense. So you can actually collect more of it. It doesn't take as much to fill up. Gold is, I guess you'd call it a pretty heavy metal. So, and it doesn't, and they all sell for right around the same. So you're looking at somewhere between about 7 and 8 grand in SCU, I believe. And much like mining on the moons and the planets, you pretty much just have to run around until you find what you want. So in this case, we've got a 13.8K rock with 33% Terranite, possibly up to 83 SCU total. So realistically, 33%. So we're looking at what? Probably about 30 SCU roughly. Maybe a little more. 30 to 40. Alright. So obviously this Hofstede S1 with the Riger C3 isn't going to cut it. But That's why we bring gadgets. And I'll reiterate this because I've said it before. You should not even be going out in a prospector unless you have at least a saber on you. Because that'll actually reduce that resistance and allow you to crack bigger rocks. In this case, we're going to go ahead and slap this one on and see what we can do. Obviously, the bigger the rock, the harder the break, if you can break it at all. 13K should be in our range. Might be kind of the upper limit, but it comes into play with the size of the rock, what it's made up of. So, whereas we'll do this and we'll see if we can break it. Maybe we can, but if it was like 40 or 50%, say 50% Terranite, then maybe we'd have more trouble. And much like has been going on for the last few patches, gadgets are a little wonky. But as long as it looks like it's sticking, it doesn't really matter where it's at. So in this case, we'll go ahead and try and get it straightened out. This is a lot easier to do when you're on the ground than in space. So if you have trouble initially, take all your sliders to one side and then try to adjust it from there. So here we'll go and we'll just move one at a time until we start seeing some significant progress. So there we're at 61, up to 74. You get the hang of it after a while. Ooh, we got up as high as 84. Yep, there we go. I know we can get this 90 at least, and that's the key. Got to get to 90. As long as you can get to 90, you can turn it on and activate it. That's probably kind of diminishing returns beyond that. I haven't personally really found where there's that much improvement in trying to break it, just because you're at, say, 95 instead of 90. So, and we'll jump back in here and see if we can break it. Gotta love the graphic glitches. Alright, let's see what we can do here. So you can see it took the resistance down. Typically, I find that reasonably, once you get under about 8 or 10% resistance, the hostage should crack it. You can see it starting to go up a little bit there. So we'll get a little bit closer. There we go. Now we're getting some movement. And we'll basically just charge it up to the green and then kind of hold it steady. If I remember to, I'll try to put some links in for the routes from the belt from Crew L1. Some of the other ones, I'll just link the page. I don't think they'll mind since it'll get traffic on their site. And then at the end of this, we'll get it refining. We'll actually pull up the regolith and show what we've got. Nice little tool for anybody that's not used it. Alright, we're getting there. Shouldn't be too much longer. Notice it still says impossible, but obviously it's moving. So don't necessarily always trust that. Alright, and then obviously with a 13.8K rock, we'll probably have to do some more secondary breaks. But I'm going to go grab my gadget so I can reuse it. I think these sabers cost about 13 or 14 grand. Obviously, you can mine without it. You're just going to be limited in size. Like, I wouldn't be able to crack this without it. So you're probably looking at more in the 8, maybe 10K range without it. And of course, they make other ones. They make an Optimax, which should give you a higher concentration of ores in each break. Alright, easy enough. We just equip it. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it back in my backpack. This is, again, if you have trouble, just move something in your backpack, and then that'll usually let you grab it. We'll put it back in there. There was a bug a while ago where putting it on your backpack would possibly disappear at some point. So I've just gotten in the habit of doing that. And of course, mining is all about a patience game. Salvage is kind of instant gratification because you can actually take it, and salvage a ship, fracture it, disintegrate it, and then you can take those containers and sell them. Whereas with mining, you, for the moment, you have to take them to the refinery on a station, and then you have to refine them, wait till they're done, then go pick them up, take them where you want to either store or sell. And currently, unless it's changed, you still have to have it delivered to a ship rather than your cargo in the system. Yep. Let me turn the phone down here. Alright, then we'll go ahead and get these done. So what I like to do is go through and break them all. Make sure we don't have anything left to break. That way I can get the largest possible amount as I can. Because it never fails. You'll start to fill up and you'll be looking through and you'll be like, oh look, there's 100% I can't get because I'm already full. So keep in mind on second breaks, you're not going to need as much power. So don't crank it up to 100. Come up gradually. Come up to about 15, maybe 20, and then go from there. Obviously, the smaller the rock, the more careful you want to be. So we'll get all of these breaking down, and then we'll see what we got. And this one looks like, if I remember right, this is the bigger of the three of the bunches. So now, with that being said, if I do come across really high, like 100%, I'll go ahead and grab it like that. And then I'll keep going. Because obviously, if I find 100, I'm going to take it. There's no question about that. Even if I break everything else, I'm still going to take the 100. And of course, the idea, I'm not going to break that one, not for 4%. The idea here is you want to minimize the other materials you're getting and maximize the top tier. That'll obviously change down the road. I mean, you'll obviously still want top tier stuff, but I assume when crafting comes in, we're going to need a lot of the base metals and ores and minerals and so forth as well. So at that point, you might go out and just start hammering rocks and taking whatever you can get just to build up a stockpile at least. And then maybe you'll focus on other things you need specifically. That's my plan. I currently have a Pioneer. At some point when they release it, I'll have the Arastra. So I will definitely be stockpiling base materials because I'd imagine there's not going to be anything worse than trying to craft stuff and realizing that you have to do on a quick run for aluminum or something. Then obviously, if you're in an org, you can maybe count on that to some extent. Um, to some extent. I mean, obviously, org members tend to share stuff, and most of the orgs I've been in have been pretty good about that. Like I was in UEMC, and they're pretty good. I'm currently in that one still, but I'm also running SIG, which is Stanton Industrial Group. And of course, we're pretty close knit. So obviously, where people need assistance, we'll help. All right. So I believe this is the last one. Well, there's one right up there next to it. Yeah, a little bit less breaks there. Yeah, it's not horrible. And don't do this. I obviously didn't think about the fact that that's purple because it's so big. So that's actually an extractable rock. If I'd have kept going on that, it probably would have blown up and ruined my whole trip here. Then we're just going to go kind of from the top down. So we'll start with this 69%. We'll look for other ones similar size or higher. Currently, I haven't had a chance to test it yet, but before 324.2, you couldn't put the mole bags on the prospector yet because they had glitched it or broke it somehow. So I'll have to test that again. But unfortunately, you can't bring them up in the elevator because they glitch out. So you'll have to get them off a salvage mole or somebody else's mole. So what I'll probably do is get the reclaimer out and go do a mole mission. That way I can make some money off it, plus get the bags. And then we'll try. That way I can do it in the safety of my own hangar. Alright, we're getting there. Just a little bit more. Some 40% there. This is all lower stuff, if I remember right. Yep, so we'll go back up here to the 40s. And we'll just keep grabbing until we're full. Like we're up to what? Just under 18 SCUs so far? Yep, there we go. And we're full. Just under 19 SCU. And a little bit of aluminum. Now, with that being said, obviously, surface mining on the moons and planets, each area has different base metals. So, like, I think Hurston is iron, Um, I forget what the other ones are. When you're in the belt, all of that kind of goes out the window. You get whatever you get. All right, so we'll go ahead and head back to Crew L1. You can tell from that, so I jumped Arc L3 from there, and I was only 6.8 from there. Nice thing about mining in the belt is you don't have to worry about people coming to find you. It's kind of hard to find anybody in the belt, even your party members right now. So the chances of you running across somebody else are pretty slim. I mean, obviously it's never impossible, but it's a whole lot safer than planet and moon mining. And being that this is the first mining I'm showing in 324.2, I'm not really cutting anything out of it. That way you can kind of see what a single run entails. And honestly, it just wasn't that far. Alright, so for this particular build, in this patch, I actually started in Orison because I planned on mining on Selin before we realized it wouldn't work that well. And I'm basing on a Crew L1 to mine. So we'll go and we'll get ourselves a hangar, go to the refinery, and get this going. And that's an issue they're having speed-wise, so I'm in nav mode, but I'm only doing 370. Because you have to kind of change your speed limiter. So, I think I've actually turned mine off later on. Not right now, obviously, but I turn it off so it doesn't keep doing that. I don't want to have to adjust it every time I come out of a jump. Alright, so we're down underneath here. One of the small hangars. Obviously, hangar size at a station will depend on what you're flying. So, unlike your home planet, your main hangar. And obviously, these aren't persistent. So, if you actually leave stuff in here, it'll be gone. Now, with that being said, you can leave your ship out, but if you store it, then realistically, anything in the hangar is going to be gone. If you actually leave your ship out, you might still have it, but I wouldn't. Now, as of today, the 25th, looks like they're planning on doing a hotfix patch tonight. So assuming that comes through, we should hopefully get some stability back. And once that patch drops, I will look and see if we can do any mining on Selin and maybe make a video. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get some repair and fuel going here. Always a good idea. Once you land, do that. Unless you've got Quantanium. In which case, get out of the ship, get it stored. But anything else, you can pretty much just take your time. Alright, for those interested, I'm running around on the Aero armor, the blue and white. You also have the Hazard, which is the yellow, the Harvester, which is the orange, and the Quicksilver, which is silver. So, the blue and white, the Hazard, you can buy in game, no problem. The Harvester, the Quicksilver, you pretty much have to either find or buy on the pledge store. Since I started in Orison, you can buy it right there at the Providence Surplus on the same platform as Cousin Crow's. Now I'll run through the station here to the elevators and go down to the refinery. Typically, you're going to pick one Lagrange point, like Crew L1 or Crew L2 or Arc L1, Arc L2. Usually going to pick one of those and mine out of there. And that's where most of your refinery processing will go, unless you're doing an event with a group or something like that. Alright, and then for those that don't know, there's two different places in here. The lower place is the store, so you only need to go there if you're buying stuff, which is where you buy the saber, if they have it. The upper here is the refinery processing. So to the left coming in was the ore only sale, where you're not refining it. We're actually at the refinery terminal. So click there, select your ship on the left, a little drop down that says material location, and set up your work order. Now check the ones you want to keep. I usually go for Dinic solventation. You can pick and choose what you want, but basically it's just that one and I think Baron exchange, which is faster but costs more. So this is a little more than a day, and then their order will be ready, and I'll end up with about 27.5 SCU altogether. That includes the aluminum. And the delay is because I'm entering the information in Regolith. Maybe next run I'll actually show that as well. Just so you can see how that works. Alright, should be just about done here. Alright, confirm. Alright, there you go. So the order is entered. Alright. And then here's the actual Regolith entry after I put it in. So you can see we're doing Crew 1, selling it ores, and that'll give me about 118 grand to sell both ores. Alright, you have any questions, comments, let me know. Otherwise, have a good day.